over to some. See, now I can't segue from it. It's your fault, Brendan.
All right, here's how we segue. Do it distastefully by first talking about how we can't segue, talking about our show, and then talking about, I don't know,
talk about
other death-related things like Assassins.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, speaking of Assassins, the Assassin's Creed movie, yeah, that's a thing. That's going to happen. A couple months ago, you heard that Michael Fassbender actually signed on to star, and he's also going to be a producer in the film. They did go out and get themselves a director, Justin Kurzel, which should be a good person to pick. And the reason we're talking about it is because recently Michael Fassbender sat down with IGN to do an interview about his new movie Frank, which is a musical of some sort, which is kind of interesting. But they asked him some details about what he was thinking for...
Hold on 1 second. Is it a musical about Frankenstein?
I don't know. I'm not gonna. I didn't want to get into it. I saw a musical and I said, okay, let's just leave that on that side and I'll be on this side.
Hilarious. Imagine Frankenstein dancing around singing. That could be terrible or hilarious or both.
I did already have to watch a horrible movie of the week called I, Frankenstein, so looks like Frank is on its way to my list. But yeah. So he sat down with IGN and he kind of let some details slip. Nothing big, but he kind of gave you some setting. Now, when asked pretty much, like, is this going to follow the game stories or is this going to follow more of its own story, he kind of said, well, it's going to be a little bit of both. It's going to take some of the elements from the game and it's going to reimagine them a little bit. So when I first heard that, a big red, flash went off, oh, warning, warning, warning. And it really brought me down because it's going to be turned into a video game movie. And when I say that, I only mean the worst things. You don't call a video game movie unless it's bad. We did a list last year, I think it was, our top 5 worst video game movies of all time. I need to dig that out somewhere. And yeah, they're never good. It just seems like whenever you try to get a studio trying to compress a game, which is usually at the very least 10 hours of storytelling, to 2 hours, an hour and a half, it just never quite works right.
I don't know about that.
Name a game.
Name a game that's been turned into a game
movie. Yeah, name one. When they strictly try to stick by the script of the game.
No, but they're not trying to strictly stick by the script of the game.
Yeah, but they're trying to keep the same story.
That's what he said. That's fine, but they're talking.
No.
They said reimagine. That's what you expect in a movie for anything. That's what you do when you translate from books to movies, typically, or from a TV show to a movie. It's typical you take basically the same storyline, but you switch things up. You switch them around to make it fit better as a movie to give you something new. Some people
the only time I really feel like this
comic
works.
book did. That's what the comic book movies did.
Well, that's where I feel where it works. Well, comic book movies are different. I mean, they damn near have the storyboard right up in front of you to draw from. If you can't make a good comic book movie, there's usually something wrong with you.
They follow the original a little bit, and they reimagine certain aspects.
In my opinion, the only decent video game movies that come out are usually the ones where they take something and they change it from the main setting of the video game and they put it somewhere else. Like, for instance, the Assassin's Creed universe. Apparently, you can find DNA memories of people all the way, back as far as, the Crusades. Why not? You have Michael Fassbender. He's a good British actor. They had some interesting, like a Victorian era Assassin's Creed, or something like that. You could take it out of the setting they've already played it in and put it somewhere else, so you could really develop your own unique and original story. That it borrows some facets of the game, but it doesn't borrow the story facets. It borrows more of the setting, character facets of the story.
Yeah, that's fine, but I think it can be done. I don't know. I would like to see what happens because there's plenty you can do. And yeah, you're right. Video game movies in general, games based off of video games in general, have a terrible track record. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not helped by the precedent. Like some of the biggest ones ever made, you think, particularly Super Mario Bros., that probably sets everything up to be even worse because less people after that kind of failure and other failures were going to even try to make a movie based off a video game. And the only people who are going to go into it are people that are going to have a low budget and don't really care what they're doing, and they're just like, yeah, we're going to put out crap. We're just going to do it on the name. So I think they've kind of got into a slump like that because I don't think that they have to be bad.
I agree. They don't have to be bad, but generally speaking, they are bad. I mean, your favorite movie of all time, I understand, In the Name of the King, is kind of based off of a video game, but it's all right.
Based off a video game? What video game?
The Dungeon Siege series.
That's
Dungeon
a book.
Siege, In the Name of the King.
That's not a video game series.
Yeah.
It is? I didn't even know
and
that.
so I'm looking for a new producer who knows stuff about video games and movies. So if you'd like to be said producer, hit me up on... Don't let Brendan
Well, I know
see
that
it,
his other one, Blood Rain, he had Blood Rain, which was also a game.
That's
that
Uwe
director.
Boll, yeah, Blood Rain, Uwe
which
Boll.
was also
House of the Dead. I mean, again, these are all ones that he tried to base right off of the video games, and it didn't work at all. So
yeah, but that's just because that was a terrible director
well,
who
yeah,
did stupid things. Like there was nothing helping that. Again, the only people willing to go into video game movie making are these terrible studios and directors and whatever that.
But we are seeing things like, I mean, they're making The Last of Us movie, which again, I hope they don't base it strictly off of. They take the setting, not the exact characters, and then you have the Warcraft movie that looks pretty cool. So we'll see how they do that. But you know what? Let us know what you think. Are you excited about this new video game movie? Are you not? Do you think we really even know anything? Because Fassbender, like I said, it was very few details, not many, just that it was going to be kind of taken from the same story. I mean, how do you think it's going to pan out? Is Brendan right? Am I right? Go ahead and let me know that I'm right in comments down below. If you think Brendan's right, just go ahead and chop off your fingers and never type anything, ever.
No, go ahead and type it down below.
But yeah, hit us up in comments down below, of course, at Words For My Face on Twitter, wordsformyface@gmail.com, wordsformyface.com, Google Plus, and Facebook. Hit us up. Let us know what you think.